Okay, next packet, what I want you to do is flip over, because I want to take a look at this one first. Now, I think there's 3 answers, and we have 4 terms, so I'm going to set up the grouping. And 1x to the third minus 5x to the second, and then negative 22x plus 56, okay? So what I want to do is see what I have for x squared, and then 1 and 5 you wouldn't have anything. Now, you want to divide by a negative. The only thing you can divide by here is 2, really. So negative 2, and then I get x minus 5, but problem is here, that's 11x minus 28. Problem is these aren't the same. So this means this is prime. Okay, so you're like, well, how do you solve it? Well, there's some things I need to teach you first before we work on solving something like that. And I will always tell you if a 4-term one's prime. It's to save you the time of having to do all that, just to recognize, oh, it doesn't work. Great, okay? So with a prime 4-term, there's some things you need to focus in on. You have to know, first off, what's called the possible solutions theorem. It's actually very easy, okay? That's all you're doing. You're going to list all possible solutions to this. So you're going to make a huge ratio line, and you take this number, put a 1 there, and that number. In your numerator, you're going to list all the factors of 30, and in the denominator, all the factors of 1. That's pretty easy. It's 1. Factors of 30, you've got 1 and 30, 2 and 15, 3 and 10, 4 is a decimal, and then you get 5 and 6, and then you're back to 6. Now, what you need to do is take all these numbers and divide them by 1. Well, 1 divided by 1 is 1. But when you get a quotient, you put a plus or minus beside it. 30 divided by 1 is 30. 2 divided by 1 is 2. 15 divided by 1 is 15. 3 divided by 1 is 3. 10 divided by 1 is 10. Could be plus or minus, so. And then plus or minus 5 and plus or minus 6. And that's all the possible solutions. You got to know your possible solutions theorem. Okay, next one. 20 and 3. So factors of 20 in the numerator, the factors of 3 in the denominator. So we got 1 and 20, 2 and 10, 3 is not a factor, and then 4 and 5. Now for 3, you got 1 and 3. So you got to take all these numbers, first dividing by 1, then by 3. So 1 divided by 1 is 1. 20 divided by 1 is 20. Put the plus minus in front of it. 2 divided by 1 is 2. 10 divided by 1 is 10. 4 divided by 1 is 4. And then 5 divided by 1 is 5. Okay? Now, we've divided them by 1. Now we got to divide them by 3. 1 divided by 3 is a decimal, so I put plus or minus 1 over 3. 20 divided by 3 is a decimal, so plus or minus 20 thirds. 2 thirds, 10 thirds, 4 thirds, and 5 thirds. So those are all your possibilities, okay? All right, next up, I've got 21 and 2. So 21 and 2. So factors of 21, 121. 2 is not a factor. 3 and 7. 4 is a decimal, 5 is a decimal, 6 is a decimal, then I'm back to 7. So 2, 1, and 2. So here's my whole numerator, and then I've divided these by each one. So 1 divided by 1 is 1. 21 divided by 1 is 21. Remember, I'm dividing. 3 divided by 1 is 3. 7 divided by 1 is 7. Then I've got so 1's done. Now I divide them by 2. So 1 divided by 2 is a decimal, so plus or minus 1/2. That's a decimal, so 21 halves. That's a decimal, so 3 halves. And that's a decimal, so 7 halves. Okay, then my last one, 18 and 1. Okay, so 18 and 1. So 1 and 18, 2 and 9, 3 and 6, 4 is a decimal, 5 is a decimal, and then I'm back to 6. So I take these and divide them by 1. So plus or minus 1, plus or minus 18, plus or minus 2, plus or minus 9, because you're just dividing by 1. And then 1's the only thing I have, so that's my list. Basic division. Now, pause the video and go do 1 and 2. Okay, I didn't stick you with a lot of them. Okay, so just 2. Okay, now unpause the video, and here's another thing you need to know how to do if you're going to solve a problem like that first one. It's a process called synthetic division. It seems stupid, but it's really easy. You're going to take these and divide them by 6. Here's how you do synthetic division. I want to do it easy so that when we get to it, you know how to do it. This first number you drop straight down. Then you take 1 times 6. You times those. You listen to me, you times them. Anytime I drop a number, I'm going to times it by 6. 1 times 6 is 6. Then what you do is you add. Negative 10 plus 6 is negative 4. Okay, then that negative 4 I times by 6. That's negative 24. Then we add. So that's negative 5. Negative 5 times 6 is negative 30. And then the last addition should be 0. If I get 0, I know I'm doing it right. Next one, you got to drop that first number. And then 10 times 7 is 70, so I add. Negative 81 adds 70 is negative 11. Negative 11 times 7 is negative 77. Then I add negative 6. Negative 6 times 7 is negative 42, so I add. And that's 0. Okay, next problem. Drop your 2. 2 times 3 is 6. Then I add. That's negative 1. Negative 1 times 3 is negative 3. Negative 3. Negative 3 times 3 is negative 9. So that's 0. 1 times 3 is 3. So I add. I get 0. Now 0 times 3 is 0. Then I add, that's negative 5. Negative 5 times 3 is negative 15. Then I add, that's going to be 0. 0 times 3 is 0. If you get a 0, you keep on going. 4 adds 0 is 4. And then 4 times 3 is 12. And that's 0. Okay? So as long as I have 0 on that last one, it's good. Okay, next one. Drop your 2. 2 times 4 is 8. Then we add. That's going to be 7. 7 times 4 is 28. Then I add. That's 21. 21 times 4 is... I wrote this problem like a moron. Okay, so let's get rid of it. Okay, drop your 2. 2 times negative 4 is negative 8, because that wasn't going to be 0. It means your idiot teacher wrote the problem wrong. So it's 1. 1 times negative 4 is negative 4. 1. 1 times negative 4 is negative 4. It's negative 1. Negative 1 times negative 4 is positive 4, and I get 0. Okay? Now pause the video and then do your synthetic division. Now in the other packet, you're going to see how that's used.